Imagine a life where the bright promise of youth quickly fades into the darkness of addiction, secrets, and tragedy. This is the story of Forrest Hayes, a successful Google employee, a man who had it all, yet lost it all in the grip of heroin. And Alix Tichelman, a young woman caught in a downward spiral that would bind their fates forever. Forrest Hayes was no ordinary man. He earned a handsome salary as a tech professional, living comfortably, enjoying the fruits of his labor. Known among his circle for his generous lifestyle, he wasn't afraid to spend, to indulge. He loved life's luxuries, including the marinas where yachts gleamed under the California sun. In 2013, Forrest bought his own luxurious yacht, a floating palace outfitted with the latest high-definition security cameras, state-of-the-art systems everywhere you looked. The kind of place that promised safety and luxury in equal measure. But luxury can't protect from darkness lurking beneath the surface. One day, a distress call came in to 911 from the yacht's captain. Forrest Hayes was found dead aboard his own vessel. But the scene was anything but simple. The yacht's cabin wasn't empty. Signs of a party, 2 glasses, 2 phones, still in use. The police took Forrest's phone and found something unusual. A dating app profile. But this wasn't just any dating app. It was Seeking Arrangement, a platform notorious for connecting so-called sugar babies with wealthy sugar daddies. A deep dive into this digital world would soon reveal a tangled web of addiction, secret lives, and tragedy. Alix Tichelman, 26 years old, a former fashion model, appeared on the police radar. The daughter of a well-off family with a stable childhood, Alexis's life had taken a dark turn. Beneath the glamorous facade was a woman battling severe mental health issues, chronic depression, an eating disorder that worsened as she withdrew from the world. She sought escape in heroin, the most destructive drug of all. Her addiction was a storm that engulfed her completely, driving her into a double life. Part-time model, part-time sugar baby, meeting men through the Seeking Arrangement site to support her habit. The site had over 4 million users, mostly married men seeking secret arrangements. Alexis was one among many caught in this shadow economy, exchanging companionship and more for money, a dangerous trade that masked desperation and pain. The police uncovered that just 2 months before Forrest's death, another man connected to Alexis, Dean, a 53-year-old music producer who once cared deeply for her, had also died of a heroin overdose. Dean's death raised more questions than answers. Why 2 men so close to Alexis die within months, both from overdoses? Was this mere coincidence? Or was there something more sinister at play? Investigators interviewed those around Alexis, her close friend Chad, a musician who genuinely loved her, and Christina, who had worked as a nanny for Dean's children. Christina revealed Dean's peculiar obsession with Alexis, describing him as deeply infatuated. But Dean had no tolerance for drugs. He never injected heroin himself, though he might have been exposed to contamination from others. The contrast between these men's fates and Alexis's downward spiral painted a grim picture. Alexis fought her demons fiercely. The pressure of addiction, mental illness, and the shadow of her double life crushed her. Her behavior became erratic, self-harming, emotionally volatile. She was haunted by fear. Fear of losing control, fear of ending her own life. Those who knew her said that her tough exterior, the eyeliner, the dark makeup, was a mask hiding deep vulnerability. They described a sensitive soul trapped in a prison of pain. By her early 20s, Alexis's life had spiraled out of control. After several failed attempts at rehab, she relapsed repeatedly. The heroin consumed her, dragging her into the darkest depths. Her relationship with Chad crumbled under the weight of secrets and lies. Though he wanted to believe in a future together, Alexis was trapped in a dangerous cycle, meeting men in secret, exchanging her body for money to feed her addiction. On October 30th, 2013, Alexis and Forrest met on his yacht. He wired her $500, promising an extra $2,000 if she came aboard. They planned to meet regularly, Forrest as her sugar daddy, Alexis as his sugar baby. The party started. 2 glasses, 2 phones, the high-definition cameras silently recording everything. But that night, something went terribly wrong. Forrest was determined to inject heroin. Alexis watched, helpless and scared. She tried to wake him, spoke to him gently, but the damage was done. In a desperate attempt to cover up the evidence, Alexis wiped glasses clean, erased any DNA traces she could find. Frantic and panicked, she fled the scene. Alexis was arrested, charged with prostitution and manslaughter. At her trial in May 2015, her defense painted her as a tragic figure, a young woman caught in circumstances beyond her control, battling addiction and mental illness. She pled guilty to involuntary manslaughter, acknowledging she did not intend to kill Forrest. The judge was moved by her remorse and sentenced her to 6 years, with time served and the possibility of early release for good behavior. Alexis's story is not just one of addiction and tragedy. It is a deeply human portrait of someone wrestling with complex psychological trauma. From a clinical perspective, Alexis exhibits signs of severe depression compounded by an eating disorder, which often coexists with high emotional distress and vulnerability. Her self-harming behaviors and substance abuse reflect maladaptive coping mechanisms to numb overwhelming pain. The dual life she led, caught between the glamour of modeling and the desperation of the streets, underscores a fractured identity, where the need for approval and love conflicted tragically with feelings of worthlessness and fear. Without adequate psychological support early on, such disorders tend to spiral, often leading to devastating outcomes like those we see here. The families of both Forrest and Alexis chose not to appear in court, unwilling to reopen old wounds or expose their pain to public scrutiny. But the scars remain. This is a story of wealth and privilege lost to addiction, of a woman's desperate struggle for survival amid mental illness and exploitation, of the invisible dangers lurking in digital underworlds like seeking arrangement, where lives intersect and sometimes unravel in the shadows. Forrest Hayes and Alix Tichelman's story is a haunting reminder. Beneath the surface of glamour and technology, tragedy often hides in plain sight. The tale of Forrest Hayes and Alix Tichelman reminds us how addiction, mental health struggles, and the hidden corners of digital life can collide with fatal consequences. But behind every statistic, there is a human story, complex, painful, and deserving of compassion. If this story moved you, take a moment to reach out to someone who might be struggling. Share this video to raise awareness about the hidden battles many face silently. And if you or someone you know needs help, don't hesitate to contact mental health professionals or addiction support services. No one has to face the darkness alone. Remember to subscribe to Dark Corridor for more deep dives into the stories lurking behind the headlines. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a journey into the shadows, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters. Together, we can shed light on these dark corridors of human experience.
I would never intentionally hurt someone, and so for the police to so sensationalize it and try to portray to everyone that I'm some kind of serial killer, it's just dumb. And I understand that the media wants ratings, and they're trying to make things that will grab people's attention. So I understand that, the media was just working with what the police had gave them. So I don't really feel any animosity towards the media as a whole. But I especially don't like the name Harbor Hooker. It just, I get a vision of a girl walking around the harbor looking for fishermen. I just think it's kind of silly, but it really doesn't bother me. And in that kind of situation, you know, when it was making national and international headlines. You just have to not care what people think about you, or else, I mean, and if someone did in that kind of situation, it could probably ultimately destroy you. So, yeah, I feel like it definitely made me develop a very thick